Welcome to Taojoy Salon, Flow Tao Salon. Today, we're diving headfirst into a market it's completely changing our relationship with technology. It's the world of AI companions, a whole economy built on virtual emotion, and trust me, it is absolutely massive. So, just how massive are we talking? Get this. In 2024 alone, the global market for AI companions is pegged at an incredible $282 billion. Yeah, let that sink in for a second. This isn't some niche tech hobby anymore. It's a full-blown financial juggernaut. And believe it or not, it's just getting warmed up. Now, all the information we're digging into today comes from a really comprehensive AI companion market research report. It was just published in March of 2026 by Data Insider Consulting, that's 结束咨询. They looked at over 430 million monthly visits to give us this unbelievable insight look. Okay, first things first. What is an AI companion? Because we're not talking about your average chatbot here. No way. These are really sophisticated products, powered by large language models, and they're designed for deep, continuous conversations. People are using them for, everything, from just having fun to finding genuine companionship and even getting some mental health support. You know, a market doesn't just hit $250 billion by accident. So what's really going on behind this explosive growth? Let's break down the forces that are fueling this boom. It really boils down to a perfect storm of four key things. First, there's a huge social need. Loneliness is on the rise, and people are looking for connection. Second, the tech itself has taken these massive leaps. Conversations now feel incredibly real. Third, you've got a ton of money pouring in, over $3 billion in just a couple of years. And finally, this thing's going global, with massive expansion into new markets. And that growth? It's about to hit the accelerator. Projections show the market rocketing to almost $500 billion by 2026, and then skyrocketing to over $1.4 trillion by 2030. That's not a typo. Trillion with a T. We're talking about a sustained growth rate of 31% a year. The scale is just staggering. But here's where it gets really interesting. This market isn't just one big happy family. It's actually split into two very distinct competing factions, and each one has a totally different philosophy about what users actually want. And if you look at the web traffic, the breakdown might actually surprise you. Out of those 434 million monthly visits, it's the platforms that allow not safe for work content, the NSFW stuff, that are attracting the majority of users. We're talking 54%. This points to this powerful silent majority that a lot of people tend to underestimate. And this right here, this is the central conflict in the whole industry. On one side, you've got the Safe for Work camp, focused on brand safety, compliance, mass appeal. On the other side, the NSFW camp, which caters directly to that unfiltered user demand. They have completely different playbooks, different audiences, and totally different risk profiles. Okay, so who are the millions of people actually driving this whole trend? Let's take a look at the demographics to see who they are and what they're really looking for. And the answer is crystal clear. The user base is young. I mean, overwhelmingly young. A staggering 52% of users are between 18 and 24. And if you add in the next group, you find out that over 3/4 of all users are under the age of 34. This is a Gen Z and millennial world, for sure. And adoption starts early. A different report from Common Sense Media found that an incredible 72% of American teenagers have already used an AI companion. This tech is basically becoming a fundamental part of the social landscape for young people. So what's driving them there? Well, sure, entertainment and just plain curiosity are big reasons. But the report shines a spotlight on a really critical use case: mental health. Nearly half of users, 48%, are turning to AI for support. It's available 24/7, it's a non-judgmental space, and it's clearly filling a massive need. But you know, when you combine this kind of explosive growth, a super young user base, and some pretty controversial content, well, it was only a matter of time before it attracted some serious attention. And it has. The industry is now sailing directly into a major regulatory storm. This timeline really shows the turning point. It all started with a tragic incident in early 2024, and that set off a domino effect. First came the lawsuits, then came industry-wide safety reviews, then a major federal investigation, and finally, new federal laws like the Take It Down Act. The industry's Wild West days are officially coming to an end. Which brings us to the core question, right? What happens when this unregulated, anything goes boomtown finally meets the sheriff? This collision between explosive user demand and a new wave of regulation is going to define the entire future of this industry. In the short term, being compliant means higher costs for the mainstream platforms. And ironically, that actually pushes some users toward the less regulated sites. But the long-term forecast is what's called the Great Split. Trusted, compliant brands will probably win major partnerships, while the gray area platforms, they're going to face a reckoning. So after exploring this whole complex landscape, what are the key things to remember? The report really boils it all down to 3 core findings. Okay, first, the silent majority is absolutely real. That demand for unfiltered content is the single biggest driver of traffic in this market, period. Second, the great collision, that fight between user demand and regulation, it's not coming, it's happening right now. And third, the future is way bigger than just text on a screen. This tech is going mainstream. Think voice, think AR, think moving into sectors like education and elderly care. This is going to be a feature in all the big tech ecosystems we use every day. 陶醉沙龙，马年兴隆。